leaves are falling and the temperatures are dropping, and around here that can only mean one thing. Basketball season is right around the corner. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Firebird Nation Sports Update. I'm your host, Eric Zedalis. On this episode, we'll recap all your UDC fall sports action, and I go one-on-one with head men's and women's basketball coaches Mike Riley and Juan Dixon. We begin with the fall sport recaps. The UDC women's cross-country team wrapped up its fall season at the East Coast Conference Cross-Country Championship meet hosted by Roberts Wesleyan College in Rochester, New York. The Firebirds finished with a team score of 239 points and finished 9th overall in the team standings. Senior Brittany Ocon paced the Firebirds with a team best time of 24 minutes and 26 seconds, placing 45th overall. Ocon was the first of a pack of UDC runners that came in within 35 seconds of each other. Junior Shayna Hodge was the next runner in 3 seconds after Ocon, at 24 minutes and 29 seconds to place 46th. Junior Kenlyn Duncan was 32 seconds after Hodge at 25 minutes and 1 second for 47th place. Freshman Chanel Hibbert came in 49th place with a time of 26 minutes 52 seconds. And freshman Tamara Duncan was the 5th and final scoring finisher for the Firebirds at 52nd place with a time of 27 minutes and 4 seconds. Freshman Nyasia Harding and Deasia Greer also finished the race, as Harding placed 55th with a time of 33 minutes and 22 seconds, and Greer was 56th in 33 minutes and 33 seconds. The week prior, 4 Firebirds ran career best times, and each placed on the school's all-time top 15 times on the Delaware State University course in Smyrna, Delaware. Freshman Nyasia Harding led the Firebirds with a career best time of 23 minutes 49 seconds, knocking nearly 1 minute off her last outing at this course and placing 10th on the school's all-time best times list at Delaware State. Next in was senior Brittany Ocon, who finished with a career best time of 24 minutes and 7 seconds, over a minute faster than her last outing and good for 11th on the all-time list. Junior Shayna Hodge followed with a career best time of 24 minutes and 20 seconds and placed 12th on the all-time list. The 4th finisher for UDC was junior Kenlyn Duncan, who ran a time of 25 minutes and 22 seconds and finished 16th on the school's all-time list. The Firebirds are looking with great anticipation for the winter indoor track and field season under newly appointed head coach Joelle Phillip. We'll introduce Joelle on the next show, so be sure to tune in. The Firebirds men's soccer team could almost sniff the East Coast Conference playoffs this year. They were that close. With a 4-4-1 league mark this year, they finished tied in the point standings with 4th place St. Thomas Aquinas. Having tied the Spartans in the head-to-head matchup, the next tiebreaker was record against the rest of the league from the top of the standings down. St. Thomas Aquinas won that tiebreaker courtesy of a 2-2 tie versus second place NYIT, and a Firebirds loss to NYIT earlier in the season. Still, there were several positives to be taken from the season, which saw UDC finish 5-11-1 overall. In particular, the outstanding play of 4 Firebird freshmen, Gabrielle Torres, Benher Gebretsani, Malik Tom, and Jao Bruce-Mullen. Torres is an ECC Rookie of the Year candidate midfielder with 20 points this season on 8 goals and 4 assists. He was ECC Rookie of the Week once this season following his hat-trick performance in a 3-0 win at East Stroudsburg. Gebretsani, in just 9 games played this season, registered 8 points on 4 goals, including the game winner in the Firebirds' 2-1 season finale win at Roberts Wesleyan. Tom pitched in this year with 7 points on 2 goals and 3 assists. He scored the go-ahead goal in a 3-1 victory at Mercy, and he added a goal and an assist in a 4-0 win versus Damon. Head coach Matt Thompson and assistant coach Danny Wadeson say goodbye to 3 quality seniors, Nelson Moreno, Mehdi Badachi, and Valir Songong. Nelson came to UDC after 2 seasons with Northern Virginia Community College. He has played defense for the Firebirds the last 2 seasons, anchoring a defensive line that has allowed 1 goal or less in 9 games and had 4 shutout victories. Nelson also scored the game-winning goal in a 2-1 victory over Mercy on October 3, 2015. Mehdi came to UDC after one season at Santa Barbara City College. He has played a mix of forward and defense for the Firebirds the last 2 seasons. Last season, he was 4th on the team in scoring with 8 points on 3 goals and 2 assists. A mechanical engineering major, Mehdi's career goal is to work at a car factory. Valier played 1 season of soccer at the College of Southern Maryland, then briefly attended West Virginia Wesleyan, but came to UDC in the fall 2014. He played on the 2014 Firebirds team that earned the most wins the program had seen in 10 years. Valier appeared in 4 games that season and the next season, while this year he has played in 12 games and started in 7. He assisted the Firebirds' go-ahead goal in a 3-1 victory at Mercy this year. Valier is a business management major at UDC. The Firebirds will return 17 players from this year's roster next fall, and it looks like it will be an exciting year for UDC men's soccer. The UDC women's tennis team had yet another very successful campaign under head coach Dickie Mahaffey. The Firebirds finished 4-4 overall and 4-3 in league play, qualifying for the East Coast Conference Championship Tournament for a 6th consecutive year. As a number 4 seed, the Firebirds immediately had to square off against the 4-time reigning champion and top seed NYIT Bears in the semifinals. They were ousted from the tournament with a 5-1 semifinals loss. Still, UDC had a remarkable season that at one point included 3 straight conference wins by the narrowest of margins, 5-4. And all 3 of those wins, the team's 2 upperclassmen, senior Elena Skopkina and junior Dominika Hadnadova, came up huge for the Firebirds with wins in both their singles and doubles matches. These 2 also teamed up at number 1 doubles for back-to-back wins over NYIT's team of Gabriela Siembab and Karolina Pondusova, both of whom took home first-team all-conference individual honors. Hadnadova, a first-team All-ACC honoree last season, earned second-team All-ACC honors this year, and Skopkina earned second-team All-ACC honors for the 2nd consecutive year. Skopkina and fellow senior Ariel Ward were honored during a Senior Day ceremony at the final home regular season match of the season versus LIU Post. Ward, a basketball convert who had never played tennis before, joined the team this fall. She said her favorite moment on the tennis team this year was participating in and watching all the action at their Intercollegiate Tennis Association Regional Championship in East Meadow, New York. Other team newcomers, Paula Avalon and Estefania Castellan, also had very successful first seasons with the Firebirds. Avalon finished with a team-best singles record of 8-3, including a 5-2 mark in league play. Castellan was 5-5 overall, including a 4-3 mark in the ECC. The 2 teamed up at number 2 doubles and finished 2-7 overall. The Firebirds will resume play in mid-March, beginning with a home match versus Chestnut Hill on March 17th. The men's basketball team is coming off a great season last year. I caught up with head coach Mike Riley. All right, Mike, last year was a year of many firsts. First season over 500 in 4 years, your first ECC playoff appearance in 4 years, first ever program wins over the ECC's newest members, Damon and Roberts Wesleyan, and first ever road wins against ECC powers Bridgeport and LIU Post. Obviously, there's still work to be done, but did you feel like you turned the corner last year?
Turned the corner. I don't know about turning the corner. Each year is a different year. And we actually, had set some goals that we were going to do some things, and we satisfied some of those goals. And you're right, we haven't finished yet. But, it confirmed to us that from a coaching standpoint, we were doing some of the things that we felt comfortable with. Sometimes if you start to do things and if you're coaching in this business, you wind up changing things very, very quickly. You say, okay, something's not working, or we want to change because the kids are frustrated. But if you stick with it and it begins to work, you start getting some satisfaction. And satisfaction usually comes in the terms of wins. then you say, okay, we're doing it right, and you can convince the kids to continue to do this, stay on that path.
Right.
So that's what I think happened last year.
Okay. Now, 5 players from last year's team, all of which saw significant playing time last year,
Right.
are back for this year.
Right.
4 of them are seniors, 1 a junior.
Right.
Are expectations higher with such a talented veteran group?
Well, expectations, Eric, I think is a good word. We do have expectations, but I don't think there's a coach anywhere that hasn't ever gone into the season and says, well, this year I don't think we're going to have a good team. So you always have good expectations. The key with this group, Joe Nicholson, Kasim Chandler, Jayon Troutman, Reggie Sidbury, and
Trayvon Butler.
Trayvon Butler. I think with that group, him being the junior only Trayvon, with that group, they have to lead. And always with leading, you have to have people that's willing to lead, but then you have to have people that's going to let them lead because they've been here. They understand what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. So I think from a standpoint, expectations are very high, but we have to make sure we put the things in order. And so if I can get these guys that have been here to understand how to lead and how to communicate with the other guys, then I think we can be pretty successful.
Okay, let's talk about your 6 newcomers.
Right.
5 of them are transfers, 1 is a walk-on.
Right.
What kind of impact do you see them having on the team this year?
Well, early on it's been good because they have been willing to let the older guys lead, and that was the key. And so if you get somebody that comes in on day one and trying to tell other people that's been here for a year how to do things, it may not work. But it's been pretty good for the kids that we got. We got a good group, and we want to continue with it. We got lucky with some guys and got some people that I think can play. Obviously, we have to go through. We play our first scrimmage, I guess, on this coming Saturday. So we'll get a better feel for that. Play the scrimmage, get an opportunity to look at some of the tape, and from there we'll go and say, hey, look, we need to make an adjustment here, we need to make an adjustment there. But I think we feel pretty good about those guys because they are willing to listen. Early on, everybody's willing to listen, but we start to play, things may change, but we'll see. We'll see.
So you've touched on some guys being willing to lead and guys being willing to be led.
Right.
Chemistry is obviously very important on a team. Can you talk about the chemistry on this team?
Well, the chemistry on the team has been very, very good. We actually, because we have 5 returning guys that have been here, we've been able to put those guys on one team and let everybody else be on the other team and learn together. So we split them up and they compete for one another. And so those guys have been getting along. We're going to start blending in some of the younger guys with the older guys, and we'll see how that works. But chemistry so far has been very, very good. So we'll just continue to work with it that way.
And this is your 4th year. Is this the most cohesion you've seen?
I don't know. I think I could judge that better at the end than at the beginning. Things always start out to be pretty good. Presentation, when you go over to the girl's house and she's fixed food, the presentation is very, very good. Then you start eating the food and you say, okay, this is not as good as I thought it was.
And so that matters too.
Yeah, that's right. So we have to make sure that we play some games and we get some competition under us, and that's why it's so important to play scrimmages early on, to get that competition against somebody else and run our offense against somebody else, and quite frankly, defense also.
Okay. So. And right off the bat, you've got some challenging non-conference games. Can you talk about your non-conference schedule a little bit?
Well, we start out, we go up to Philadelphia, and we play against a very good Philadelphia U team, and we also play against Chestnut Hill in that tournament. We played in there last year, and they always have very, very good teams and very, very good competition. So that's why we play them early on. We have Bloomfield coming up, and then Slippery Rock, and all these are on the road. So that's why not only you're playing a good competition, but you're playing on the road. So you get an opportunity to be on the road, see how the guys respond on the road. It's a little different than being in the friendly confines of home, but being on the road, playing against good competition, and then putting your things to work. So I like to look at it not just in a win-loss, although winning is very, very important. I want to see if we're progressing. If we lose a game, whether or not looking at the film that we did some of the things right, and the team that we played against, we just didn't get lucky enough to get some of those things. Shots didn't fall or whatever. Right. But if we're getting good shots, we have to come in here and work on it, and shots will fall eventually. So.
Okay. Lastly, back in September, the athletic department partnered with Potbelly Restaurant for a Make-A-Wish fundraiser to honor the late sister of men's basketball student athlete Trayvon Butler. You and your coaching staff brought all the players down during the 25% fundraiser and ordered food. I saw all your guys shake hands and hug the Butler family. Right. What was it like to see your team rally around Trayvon and his family?
Well, I think I guess, I'm sorry, but it was it's very, very emotional for me personally. And I know the Butler family very, very well. Trayvon actually is the first kid that I recruited from high school to come here. And I knew he wouldn't be ready at the beginning, but I knew he would play better as we got along, through in the season. But the relationship that he had with his family is an incredible relationship. Journey, his sister, was an incredible young lady. The funeral that we went to was unbelievable. It was the most unbelievable, sad funeral that I've ever been to. But because of him, I think his teammates treated him the way that they did. They wanted to be down there. They wanted to be there for him. But I think as a whole, I was very proud of them. I'm very proud of how he's responded, and I continue to be proud of him because he's going through difficult times, still even now, missing his sister. His dad is taking a hit because of the fact that he missed the door, and his mother also. So I think it's a wonderful thing that people rallied around, and I think it's a wonderful thing that we were able to have that. And kudos to you for suggesting that to have that down at Potbelly. So I think that he's just a great guy to be around, and hopefully he'll continue to stay the course and do well. He's done well so far, so I'm sure he will.
I agree. Okay. All right, Mike, well, we wish you the best of luck this season.
Okay, thanks a lot, Eric.
UDC announced the hiring of Juan Dixon as its new head women's basketball coach on October 14th. We're very excited to have Juan on board. I recently caught up with Juan to talk about his new position at UDC and what he hopes to do here. All right, Juan, first off, what was going through your mind when you found out you got the head women's basketball coaching position at UDC?
Well, when I got that call from Pat saying that she was going to hire me as the next head women's basketball coach here at UDC, I was shocked, because of the requirements she was looking for in a head coach. I didn't have the experience. But I like to think all my basketball experience throughout my career, I've learned from many, many great coaches. I played with some unbelievable players. I knew that I was prepared for this moment. The last 3 years I worked for a great coach in Mark Turgeon and was able to learn a lot from him. So I knew once she said she was going to hire me, I knew that I was ready for this opportunity.
Who were some of your first calls to tell that you got the position?
So I called my former coach at Maryland, Gary Williams. I told him right away, we spoke about it. He's been one of my biggest supporters since my basketball career was over, helping me to make that transition from playing to coaching. And I knew back when I was with Coach Williams that coaching would be my next career move after basketball because I realized a long time ago that I truly believe coaching is my purpose. Basketball was a vehicle for me to get to this point in my life where I can teach and mentor and help prepare, our young community for basketball and for life.
That's great. Now, I had the opportunity to sit in on the team meeting when you spoke to the women's basketball student athletes here when we made the announcement that you were hired. They asked you several questions and you fielded them. I thought one of the most straightforward questions was, what do you expect from us and what should we expect from you? And I thought you took that question in stride. Can you tell us, how did you respond to that question?
Well, that question, the young ladies asked some great questions. I didn't expect some of those questions, but with the philosophies that I've come up with, along with a great friend of mine, John Auslander, and the stuff we was able to learn from other coaches, from our boss who we worked for the last 3 years. I was prepared for that question. I know the type of brand of basketball I want us to play here at UDC. I talked to John Nicodia when I interviewed. He told me what type of talent was here. So I had already had a good feel for the young ladies, and I knew that, we want to play an up-tempo style, but we have to be a disciplined basketball team in order to play that way. We have to pay attention to detail. We have to be structured offensively and defensively, and we have to be able to play with great spacing. So our job is to help them learn basketball, how basketball is played at the highest level. And these young ladies have done a great job for a week so far, learning the system and learning where they fit within our system.
Speaking of playing at the highest level, I mean, you're the all-time leading scorer at University of Maryland and national champion. How do you, that was your identity.
Right.
What's the identity of the Firebirds women's basketball team going to be?
Well, our identity as a team is to play hard, all right, play physical, play with freedom, all right. We want to play fast, but we want to be a disciplined basketball team. And like I said, we've made huge strides since our first practice last week. And us, the coaches, are not going to dummy down what we expect from our team. We feel as though these young ladies, even though we have 6 freshmen, we had a transfer, we know that we can play at a high level. So our job is to come out here and teach and motivate these young ladies to get better. And so far, we've done a great job of it.
Your time with the team has been limited, obviously, but you did have a scrimmage last weekend against Virginia Union, NCAA Division II Elite 8 team last season.
Right.
Tell us what you learned about the team from that scrimmage.
Well, I learned a lot about women's basketball in that scrimmage. All right, so I learned that, we didn't win on the scoreboard, but it wasn't about the scoreboard. It was about us getting a feel for our young ladies out there competing against one of the better teams in Division II women's basketball. And they were well prepared. You could tell that team has been around each other. But we competed. We came out and we got the shots we wanted. We didn't make a lot of those shots, but we're not worried about that. We had some turnovers. Maybe that's because of the coaches. We didn't prepare as well. We wasn't expecting a 2-3 trapping zone. We didn't prepare for that.
Right.
So we'll take responsibility for that. I see that on the women's side, there may be a lot more gimmick defenses like the zone, the trap. We'll be well prepared. Our girls competed. We played hard. And we learned a lot about our team as far as what combinations we could put out on the court. So we're just looking forward to our next scrimmage this Saturday.
Okay. This program has had tremendous success over the last 5 years, 4 seasons of over 20 wins, 4 ECC playoff appearances, 3 NCAA tournament appearances, and 1 ECC tournament championship in 2014. How do you continue that success?
It's funny, Eric, I never talk about wins when it comes to our basketball team. I never mention it because winning is a byproduct of everything, all the little things you do in practice, off the court, being disciplined, doing your job. So if we come out here and we execute what the coaches want, all right? We take care of our academics off the court. We're being good people out here in the community. Winning is going to come as long as we're doing everything the right way. We're extremely detailed as coaches when it comes to our performance on the court. So winning is something that is going to happen as long as we're doing all the little things necessary when it comes to practicing, when it comes to academics, when it comes to being a good teammate, a great person in the community, and a coachable athlete, student athlete. It's going to happen. So our goal is to win. I wouldn't have taken this job if I didn't think I could help lead these young women to a lot of victories. So it's a challenge that I'm looking forward to, that we're looking forward to, and we're going to keep the tradition going when it comes to winning a lot of basketball games. But I never mention it to our team.
Okay. And what's your favorite thing about working here so far?
I love the relationships. I love the family atmosphere. You know, I'm just sitting in Pat's office, you know, chatting it up with some colleagues, and we're having a good time. I see a couple members of the staff. They take coffee breaks every day. So I'm having a lot of fun. I just left a meeting with our staff where we asked Terrell Stokes from the men's staff. He joined us in the meeting. He showed us a few things as well. So, you know, we have a family atmosphere here. Like I said, this is my first head coaching job, so I plan on leaning on everyone, including yourself, to get acclimated with UDC campus and environment. And I'm having a blast. I'm having a great time.
That's great, and we wish you the best of luck this year.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
So that'll do it for this edition of Firebird Nation Sports Update. Be sure to check us out on the internet, on our website udcfirebirds.com, on Facebook UDC Athletics, on Twitter @UDC Athletics, on Instagram @UDC Athletics, and on YouTube @UDC Athletics 1. I'm your host, Eric Zedalis. See you next time.